For 45 years, Jay Leno kept the same routine. Wake up at 5 a.m. Work on cars. Tell jokes. Come home to her. The woman who laughed at all his jokes at exactly the right time. The woman who said she'd never marry anyone. The woman who changed everything on a January night in 1976. In November 2022, his face catches fire in his garage. Third-degree burns across his hands, chest, face. 2 months later, a motorcycle throws him off at 60 miles per hour. Broken collarbone. 2 broken ribs. Cracked kneecaps. He's 72 years old, and people start asking, why doesn't he stop? Then in April 2024, he files for conservatorship. His wife of 45 years has advanced dementia. She's progressively losing capacity and orientation to space and time. The woman who fought for Afghan women's rights. The woman who never wanted marriage or children. The woman who built a life with him on her own terms, she's disappearing into silence. Now, at 75, Jay Leno finally says what he's never said publicly. I enjoy taking care of her. That's what love is. For the first time, he's not making jokes. He's not deflecting. He's talking about Mavis, the love of his life. James Douglas Muir Leno was born on April 28, 1950, in New Rochelle, New York, the younger of 2 sons. His father, Angelo Leno, was an insurance salesman born in New York to Italian immigrants from Flumeri, Campania. Angelo earned a modest salary at Prudential Insurance Company, managing policies while his wife handled everything at home. His mother, Catherine Muir, emigrated from Greenock, Scotland, at age 11. She was a homemaker with very little formal education, but she had something more valuable: she had grit. The family moved to Andover, Massachusetts, where they lived in a working-class neighborhood. Angelo was loud Italian, came from a boisterous large family. Catherine was stern, Scottish, disciplined. Their older son Patrick was brilliant. He'd eventually graduate from Yale Law School, serve in Vietnam, become an attorney. Then there was Jay. At age 7, Jay couldn't read the way other kids could. The letters moved. They swapped places. He'd stare at a page for 30 minutes and still couldn't tell you what it said. Teachers called him slow. His high school guidance counselor told him to drop out. Said college wasn't for someone like him. Jay had dyslexia, but in the 1950s and 60s, they just called you dumb. While other kids finished homework in an hour, Jay took 4. His mother sat with him every night. She'd read the assignments aloud. She'd help him write his answers. She'd quiz him until midnight. She never once told him he couldn't do it. She just said, work harder. At age 10, Jay discovered his ticket out. He was watching TV, some comedian telling jokes, and people were laughing. Actually laughing. He started writing down jokes. Memorizing them. Testing them on his brother, his parents, kids at school. When people laughed, he felt smart for the first time. By age 14, he was performing at school talent shows for $5 here, $10 there. He wasn't trying to be famous. He was trying to survive. Comedy didn't require reading fast. It required observing, remembering, connecting. His dyslexia had taught him to listen better than anyone else in the room. At age 16, his mother told him, "You're going to college." His guidance counselor said it was a waste of time. Jay applied to Bentley College, wanted to be an accountant because his father dealt with numbers. A dyslexic accountant, he'd joke years later. I lasted 1 semester. Then he heard about Emerson College in Boston. They had a speech therapy program. He told jokes during his admissions interview. They let him in. At Emerson, he started a comedy club in 1973. He worked 300 nights a year in Boston area clubs. He made $25 a night. Sometimes $50. He lived on peanut butter and slept in his car between shows. His dyslexia meant he couldn't write scripts like other comedians. So he developed an approach: observe everything, remember it all, tell the truth funnier than anyone else. While classmates struggled with theory, Jay was building a real career in dirty nightclubs where half the crowd was drunk and the other half wanted to fight you. By age 22, he graduated with a bachelor's degree in speech therapy. The guidance counselor who told him to drop out? Jay never went back to prove anything. He just moved to Los Angeles. On March 2, 1977, at age 26, Jay Leno walked onto the set of The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson for the first time. He performed his stand-up routine. Johnny laughed. The audience laughed. When Jay sat down on the couch afterward, Johnny said the words every comedian wanted to hear: "You're funny. Come back." But that first appearance was just an audition. Jay went back to what he'd always done: work. From 1977 to 1987, he worked 300 comedy shows per year. Every year. Road clubs. Corporate gigs. College campuses. County fairs. If someone paid $500 for 45 minutes of jokes, Jay drove there. He appeared on the Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. show in the late 1970s. He did late-night spots on every talk show that would book him. But The Tonight Show became his home. By 1986, Johnny Carson named him an exclusive guest host. Then, in August 1987, Johnny made an announcement. Jay Leno would be the permanent guest host. Not David Letterman. Not Joan Rivers. Jay. From 1987 until Johnny's retirement in 1992, Jay hosted more than 300 episodes as guest host. He was being groomed. But the industry didn't want Jay. They wanted Letterman. David Letterman was the cool, sarcastic intellectual. Jay was the blue-collar joke machine. Letterman had the critics. Jay had Middle America. NBC executives fought about it for years. Letterman expected the job. Jay kept showing up and doing the work. Behind the scenes, NBC made a secret deal. In 1992, they offered Jay The Tonight Show. They didn't tell Letterman until the last minute. When the announcement came, Letterman felt betrayed. He left NBC for CBS, launching The Late Show with David Letterman. The late night wars began. On May 25, 1992, at age 42, Jay Leno officially became the host of The Tonight Show. His first guest was Billy Crystal. The reviews were mixed. Critics said he wasn't Carson. They said he wasn't smart enough. They said he'd fail. Jay kept working. He did the show every weeknight. Then on weekends, he'd fly to Vegas or Atlantic City or some corporate event and do stand-up. He never stopped. From 1992 to 2009, Jay worked 260 Tonight Show episodes per year plus 150 stand-up shows. He didn't save his Tonight Show salary. He lived entirely off his stand-up income, roughly $10 million per year by the 2000s. His Tonight Show salary, which peaked at $30 million per year, went straight into investments and his car collection. Never spend the big check, he'd tell people. Save it. Live off the small one. The system didn't exploit him because he refused to be exploited. He owned his time. He negotiated his contracts. He said no when NBC tried to cut his pay. When they threatened to replace him in 2004, he signed a deal guaranteeing his position until 2009. But success came with a cost nobody saw. In 1995, Jay Leno finally beat David Letterman in the ratings. After 3 years of losing, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno became the #1 late-night show in America. That same year, his mother Catherine died at age 82. Cancer. She'd battled it for months. Jay didn't miss a show. He did The Tonight Show the night she died. He walked on stage, told jokes, interviewed guests, went home, and cried. In 1994, his father Angelo died at age 84. Also cancer. Jay was in his first 2 years of hosting The Tonight Show, the most important moment of his career, and he buried both parents within 14 months. But he still showed up. That was the rule. Work through it. Keep moving. Never show weakness. By 2002, he'd won 7 Emmy Awards. His Tonight Show drew 5.4 million viewers nightly. He was worth approximately $150 million. He owned 169 cars and 117 motorcycles in his Big Dog garage in Burbank. His car collection was valued at $52 million. But in 2002, his older brother Patrick died. Cancer. Age 62. Patrick Leno, Vietnam veteran, Yale Law School graduate, brilliant attorney gone. Jay was now the only surviving member of his immediate family. His mother. His father. His brother. All dead from cancer within 9 years. Jay didn't talk about it. He did more stand-up shows instead. 200 shows a year. 250. When grief showed up, he got on a plane to Tulsa or Cleveland or Boise and told jokes to strangers. Behind the success was isolation. Jay and Mavis had no children. They decided that together in 1980. But it meant no family gatherings. No kids' weddings. No grandchildren. Just the two of them in a house in Beverly Hills. In 2009, NBC made a decision that would define the last act of Jay's career. Conan O'Brien, who'd been promised The Tonight Show in a 2004 contract, was finally taking over. Jay agreed to step down. But NBC didn't want to lose him to another network. So they created The Jay Leno Show, a 10 p.m. talk show, 5 nights a week. It failed. The ratings were awful. Local NBC affiliates complained it was killing their 11 p.m. newscasts. 7 months later, NBC panicked. They wanted to move The Tonight Show to 12:05 a.m. and give Jay his 11:35 p.m. slot back. Conan O'Brien refused. On January 12, 2010, Conan went on The Tonight Show and read a statement. "I believe that delaying The Tonight Show into the next day to accommodate another comedy program will seriously damage what I consider to be the greatest franchise in the history of broadcasting. I cannot participate in what I honestly believe is its destruction." NBC paid Conan $45 million to leave. The public turned on Jay. David Letterman roasted him nightly. Jimmy Kimmel went on Jay's show and brutally mocked him on air. Critics called him a backstabber, a snake, a greedy sellback artist. Jay returned to The Tonight Show on March 1, 2010. He was 59 years old. His reputation was shredded. His legacy was damaged. But he still had Mavis. Every night, he went home to the woman who never cared about his ratings. In the 1990s, Jay Leno became the comedian Middle America trusted. When Hugh Grant was arrested for soliciting a sex worker in 1995, every publicist in Hollywood advised Grant to cancel his Tonight Show appearance. Grant showed up anyway. Jay opened with one question: "What the hell were you thinking?" The audience roared. Grant gave an honest, embarrassed answer. The interview saved Grant's career. It showed Jay's power. He could forgive, redirect, make celebrities human again. In 1998, Bill Clinton's Monica Lewinsky scandal dominated the news. Jay told 4,000 Clinton jokes over 18 months, more than any other late-night host. He wasn't partisan. He was merciless to everyone. Politicians feared his monologue more than Senate hearings. But his biggest cultural contribution was cars. In 2014, Jay Leno's Garage launched on CNBC. It wasn't just a car show. It was history, craftsmanship, engineering. Jay interviewed builders, collectors, engineers. He got grease on his hands. He explained how a 1906 Stanley steamer worked. He drove a jet-powered motorcycle. He featured women engineers and mechanics when other car shows ignored them. The show averaged 1.2 million viewers per episode. It crossed demographics: gearheads, history buffs, engineering students. When CNBC canceled it in 2023 after 7 seasons, Jay moved it to YouTube. His channel now has 3.69 million subscribers. He keeps making episodes himself. Jay also broke a late-night rule. He never got political in a tribal way. In an era where late-night hosts became activists, Jay stayed a comedian. He mocked everyone equally. His core philosophy: "I don't care who's in charge. I just want good jokes." It was January 1976 when Jay Leno met Mavis Nicholson. He was performing at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. She was in the audience to network, not to find a boyfriend. She was 29 years old, the daughter of character actor E.A. Nicholson. Mavis was sharp, feminist, fiercely independent. She'd told friends for years she'd never marry. Marriage was a trap. It erased women. Then Jay started his set. He told a joke about a grocery store. Mavis laughed. At exactly the right time. Not early. Not late. Perfect timing. Jay noticed her immediately. After the show, he found her. They talked for hours. They dated for 4 years. Jay proposed in the most unromantic way possible: "I have insurance now. If something happens to me, you should be covered." No ring. No bended knee. Just paperwork. On November 30, 1980, they married at a friend's house. Very small wedding. It was the same date as Jay's parents' wedding anniversary. Angelo and Catherine had been married 57 years. Jay and Mavis invited almost no one. But their marriage had rules. No children. Neither wanted them. Mavis was building a career as a feminist activist. Jay was working 300 shows a year. Kids didn't fit. Neither of us really wanted kids, so that was fine, Jay told Oprah in 2002. What Jay didn't talk about publicly was what Mavis was building while he became famous. In 1997, Mavis became chair of the Feminist Majority Foundation's campaign to stop gender apartheid in Afghanistan. She fought for women's rights under the Taliban before most Americans knew what the Taliban was. In 1999, Jay and Mavis donated $100,000 to expand the campaign. Mavis testified before Congress. She met with government officials. She used her platform and Jay's money to amplify the voices of Afghan women who had none. While Jay told jokes to millions, Mavis worked behind the scenes. No red carpets. No magazine covers. Just relentless advocacy. Jay supported her completely. "She's smarter than me," he'd say. "I just drive the cars and pay the bills." Their life had a rhythm. Jay worked. Mavis advocated. They came home to each other. For 45 years, they had the same conversation every night. "How was your day? What did you learn? What made you laugh?" But in 2023, something changed. Mavis started forgetting small things. Where she put her keys. What day it was. Then bigger things. Names. Events. Entire conversations disappeared. By January 2024, doctors diagnosed advanced dementia. She was 77 years old. Jay filed for conservatorship over her estate in April 2024. The court documents were heartbreaking. Mavis Leno has been progressively losing capacity and orientation to space and time for several years. The woman who once memorized congressional testimony could no longer remember what year it was. The Conan conflict was Jay Leno's biggest public disaster. In 2004, NBC feared losing Conan O'Brien to another network. So they promised Conan he'd get The Tonight Show in 2009. Jay agreed. But in 2009, NBC didn't want to lose Jay either. They created The Jay Leno Show at 10 p.m. When that failed 7 months later, NBC tried to move The Tonight Show to 12:05 a.m. and give Jay back his 11:35 p.m. slot. Conan refused. NBC paid Conan $45 million and reinstated Jay on March 1, 2010. The public backlash was nuclear. Critics called Jay greedy, a backstabber, someone who stole a job twice, first from Letterman in 1992, then from Conan in 2010. Team Coco merchandise flooded the internet. "I'm with Coco" became a rallying cry. Jay never fought back publicly. He said, "It's not my decision. NBC makes the decisions. I just show up and do my job." People hated that answer. They wanted anger, emotion, an apology. David Letterman used the controversy to destroy Jay in the ratings for 6 months. Jimmy Kimmel went on The Tonight Show and openly mocked Jay to his face, doing a parody version of Jay's voice. The tension was excruciating. Jay laughed uncomfortably. But here's what the public didn't know. Jay didn't want to leave in 2009. NBC forced him out to honor Conan's contract. Then they forced him back when their plan failed. Jay was a pawn in a corporate disaster. But he took all the blame. The David Letterman feud was quieter but deeper. In 1992, when Jay got The Tonight Show instead of Letterman, Dave felt betrayed. They'd been friends. Letterman believed NBC had promised him the show. Instead, NBC made a secret deal with Jay. For 17 years, Letterman mocked Jay almost nightly. He called him a thief, a sellout. Jay rarely responded. When he did, he'd say, "Dave is a great comedian. I have nothing but respect for him." It drove Letterman crazy. In 2015, both retired within months of each other. Letterman said in an interview, "Jay did exactly what I would have done. He took the job. I can't be mad about that anymore." In November 2022, Jay Leno became a meme for survival. He was working under his 1907 white steam car in his big dog garage. A fuel line clogged. Gasoline sprayed across his face and chest. Then it ignited. "I got a face full of gas and caught on fire," he told reporters later. "My face was on fire." Third-degree burns covered his face, hands, and chest. He spent 10 days at the Grossman Burn Center. He underwent hyperbaric oxygen treatment and skin grafts. Photos of his burned face went viral. People couldn't believe he was smiling in hospital pictures. Then, on January 17, 2023, just 2 months later, Jay was riding his 1940 Indian motorcycle. Someone turned in front of him. Jay swerved. The bike threw him. He tumbled 60 feet. Broke his collarbone. 2 ribs. Both kneecaps. He was 72 years old. The internet couldn't process it. Headlines screamed, "Jay Leno survives another accident." Memes flooded TikTok and Twitter. Jay Leno is indestructible. This man cannot be killed. Jay Leno versus death. Death is 0 to 2. But the jokes masked something darker. Why was a 72-year-old man working under a car by himself? Why was he still doing stand-up shows 2 months after his face burned off? In April 2025, Jay gave his first in-depth interview about caregiving for Mavis. He told interviewer Graham Bensinger, "My wife's got some problems, so it's just her and me. But it's always been her and I for the last 45 years anyway, so it's fine. I enjoy taking care of her." The clip went viral. Not for jokes. For honesty. Young people on TikTok shared it with captions like, "This is what love actually looks like." He's taking care of her the way she took care of him for 45 years. Jay's relevance didn't come from comedy anymore. It came from showing up. Through burns. Through broken bones. Through his wife's dementia. He kept showing up. Jay Leno hosted The Tonight Show for 22 years across 2 separate runs, 1992 to 2009, 2010 to 2014. During that time, he earned $320 million in salary before taxes. He interviewed over 15,000 guests. He delivered more than 5,000 monologues. He made The Tonight Show the most-watched late-night program for most of his tenure, averaging 5.2 million viewers per episode. But his financial legacy is even more striking. Jay's net worth in 2025 is approximately $450 million. He built that wealth through relentless stand-up work, performing 150 to 200 shows per year, even while hosting The Tonight Show. He lived off that income and saved every dollar of his TV salary. His car collection includes 181 cars and 160 motorcycles, valued between $52 million and $100 million. But it's not just a vanity collection. Jay employs a full-time team of mechanics, restorers, and engineers. His Big Dog Garage preserves automotive history. He's donated cars to museums. He's funded engineering scholarships. In his will, disclosed in 2024, Jay is leaving $7 million to family members. The majority of his estate goes to the JDM Foundation, which he launched in 1988 to support automotive restoration, engineering education, and children's charities. If Jay dies before Mavis, the estate divides into the Leno Marital Trust, which includes the entire car collection and the property housing it. Mavis will be cared for with those assets. After her death, it all goes to the foundation. Jay transformed late-night comedy by making it less cynical and more accessible. He didn't try to be the smartest guy in the room. He tried to be the guy who noticed what everyone else noticed: grocery stores, gas prices, traffic, politicians lying. He spoke to normal people. His influence on car culture is equally significant. Jay Leno's Garage didn't just showcase expensive cars. It celebrated mechanics, inventors, tinkerers. It made engineering cool. It proved that celebrities could be genuine enthusiasts, not just collectors. But perhaps his greatest legacy is showing how to care for someone when they can't care for themselves. Now, at 75 years old, Jay Leno still works. He performs 100-plus stand-up shows per year. He produces Jay Leno's Garage episodes for YouTube, where his channel continues to grow. He gets approximately 300,000 views per video. His influence in the automotive world remains stronger than his influence in comedy. Net worth in 2025, approximately $450 million. But he's donated over $15 million to various causes since 2000. Over 30% of his annual income goes to his JDM Foundation. He still lives in the same Beverly Hills house he bought with Mavis in the 1980s. He could have been worth $600 million if he kept everything. That's not what he was chasing. His daily routine now revolves around Mavis. She's 79 years old, diagnosed with advanced dementia. Jay is her primary caretaker. "I give her medications," he told reporters in 2025. "I make sure she eats. I keep her comfortable. It's what you do. It's what love is." Every morning, he wakes her up at the same time. He helps her get dressed. He makes her breakfast, the same breakfast she's eaten for 40 years. He plays her favorite music from the 1960s and 70s. Sometimes she recognizes him. Sometimes she doesn't. He stays patient either way. In September 2025, Jay gave an update to People magazine. "She has good days and bad days. On good days, we'll sit in the garden and she'll tell me stories I've heard 1,000 times. I act like it's the first time. On bad days, she doesn't know who I am. Those are harder. But I took a vow. In sickness and in health. I meant it." In November 2024, Jay suffered another accident. He fell 60 feet down a hill outside a Pittsburgh hotel while taking a shortcut to dinner before a show. Broke his wrist. Bruised his entire left side. He wore an eye patch to his next performance. People asked why he doesn't stop working. He said, "Work gives me purpose. Coming home to Mavis gives me purpose. I don't need anything else." The comedy world has moved on. Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, they're the late-night voices now. But Jay doesn't seem to care about relevance anymore. He cares about cars. About jokes. About Mavis. At 75, Jay Leno finally admitted publicly what he's shown privately for 49 years. Mavis was the love of his life. Not fame. Not The Tonight Show. Not the car collection. Her. In a 2025 interview, Jay said, "People ask me about my legacy. I don't think about that. I think about whether Mavis had a good day. I think about whether I made her laugh. I think about the next show. The next car. The next time I get to come home to her. That's my legacy. Just being there when it mattered." He could have retired after the burns. After the motorcycle crash. After Mavis got sick. But Jay Leno doesn't know how to stop. Stopping means thinking. Thinking means remembering what he's losing. So he works. He comes home. He takes care of her. And when she looks at him and smiles, even if she doesn't remember his name, that's enough. At 75, Jay Leno is exactly who he's always been, the guy who shows up. The guy who works harder than anyone else. The guy who goes home to the woman who laughed at all his jokes at exactly the right time. 49 years later, she's still the punchline he never saw coming. The one that changed everything. ***.